Hi, welcome to another episode of Wally Garage. Today, we will be looking at our BMW 335xi 2008, and we'll be replacing the front brake pads and the rear brake pads. The front brake pads, we will also change out the wear sensor, which is on the driver's side, front left wheel. We'll also change out the sensor on the back wheel, which is on the passenger side, on the right-hand side of the vehicle. There's only one per axle. So it'll be really interesting to see that. We'll also change out the parking brake. The parking brake is interesting in the fact that the shoes are contained within the hub of the rear rotor. In order to take that out, we have to constrict the shoes so that you can pull the rotor off. And you have to turn this little screw dial that you find by going through one of the lug nut holes in the vehicle. So that's going to be really interesting. So stay tuned and let's get to it. So I purchased these. They're called jack pads, made of billet aluminum. And these fit right into the holders. See that plastic underneath the BMW? So this thing slides right into that hole because it's actually empty inside. It's actually kind of a shell of plastic. And there's like 4 of them under your BMW. So it kind of cuts into the rubber, as you can see here. Because it leaves basically a rectangle. But this fits inside and then lifts it correctly. So I got 4 of them. They're made of aluminum. There's 2 on each side. I recommend you get these. They're not that expensive, but they work really well. Keeps your car really well lifted. So got that on my quick jack. All right, so the first step is we're going to remove the front wheels. It's on the quick jack, and so we get our kick-ass DeWalt out and remove it. I recommend you get some of these mechanics gloves and get some of these too. These are Kevlar, and they will prevent your hands from getting burned. So if you do a lot of work and want to not have scars over your body, get a pair of these. All right, so now we've got the brake exposed, and we'll pop it out. So I'm going to take out this retaining clip, and then there's 2 pins. I think it's a 7mm bolt, which allows the caliper to slide back and forth. There's 2 16mm bolts that hold the caliper in, but we don't need to remove that. We just need to remove the caliper pins. We'll sand them, and so that can move back and forth freely. We'll grease that all up, and we'll replace the pads. So let's get to it. It's a fantastic tool from Milwaukee. It's a demolition screwdriver. It's got a metal cap, a shank that goes all the way through, and this really interesting tip. So you can hammer this and get into all sorts of great things. But what we need to do is to pop this out. So I believe we take a lift here. Straight out. So that's called the anti-rattle clip. That keeps this thing from flopping up and down because this is actually not connected to the caliper retainer here, right? This caliper can move up and down just because the sliding rods are only from the other side. So the spring here gives it tension against this carrier which doesn't move and keeps it flopping on the outside. So let's get to undo the 2 bolts. You have to pop the 2 caps, put in a ratchet, and we'll unscrew that. let's get to that. Okay, now we're going to remove the two caps. You reach back here with these rubber caps. Here's one. There's the second one near the bottom here. That will expose the hex key. We can put our socket in. Wear your gloves here. That's where it breaks loose and you smash your hand. All right, grab my glove, put protection here. All right, broke that free. Break the other one free. And I reach around. Okay, so that broke free. Now we're just gonna unwind them. And once those are free, this part of the caliper will come out and you'll see the brake pads. That's pin one. The second pin. There's a really interesting ridge here that shouldn't be here, so Nick, I don't know what that is. I think this is pin number 2. So the second pin, if you notice, the top pin is a little bit shorter than the bottom pin. Right, so at this point, you can probably push the caliper. It should come out. You just squeeze the caliper so that we can release the brakes. We're just prying against the caliper. So we don't care about that caliper because we're replacing it. So this should just slide right off. Right? We gotta have to pull it out because it's catching on the carrier. So I'm gonna put this special brake hook. Then we can pull it out. You can see. Hook it up here, the suspension. You can kind of see the brake pads. They're not too bad. There's a little bit of meat on the left. So we'll go clean these up, and these are the new brake pads here. They're from a company called Akibono, so they should be less brake dust. We're going to replace them. on each wheel, front axle and back axle, you have to replace this sensor, which is this wire right here. Put it in that box, just plugs right in, just plug it up, and you snap this thing into the brake pad, and then it wears to this point. You see it's wearing. Then it's going to tell you kind of how much brake pads you have left. So I just buy new hardware. I got a new piece of this plastic. It's obviously screwed up here, but I've got a new one that we're going to replace. So we'll take those out. Here's the unorthodox way to push the caliper back in before putting the new calipers, which have a lot more meat on them. So you jam a piece of wood in there, and just get your pry bars, and just gently pry. You can use a C-clamp. There's also a tool for this. I don't have that tool. If you gently do this, you can see that it does work. And just pry on the old brake pad. And watch your reservoir up there, because it might overflow, because someone might have filled it as the pads start to wear. Okay. I think that's good. So we'll use the same thing. This is brake quiet, which is essentially a glue, which is what this stuff here is. It glues the pad to the caliper so it doesn't move around and make squeaks. So they call it brake quiet. Do the same thing on the piston face on the new pad. So piston face would be here, and for this it would be all around here for the outside pad. The rest of it, we use this. You can also just use this ceramic grease, which works really well. And it'll do brake quiet as well. And think about it, if it's lubricated and it's moving, and it's not going to squeak, right? So you could use this as well. I like the brake quiet. Permatex, this is good stuff. So we're going to pry those off. All right, let's pry these off. See the red brake quiet from last time. Interesting, these are the original BMW brakes. As you can see, the new Akibonos for the outside plate have a little clip. Allows them to kind of hold it in place. Without that clip, when you're going to put this back in, I mean, it flops all over the place. And with the brake quiet, obviously it's a glue, so it holds it in place, but otherwise getting it back in is kind of really difficult. So anyway, there's still a little bit of good meat on there, but we're getting rid of these. They're really dusty, these OEM ones. You can see the brake quiet on there as well. But as you can see, there's the piston. The thing is, piston is made of metal. Sometimes they make them out of phenolic, which is really bad because when this brakes heat up, phenolic obviously starts to degrade. Actually, degrades after a certain temperature. It's a thermoset, so it won't just melt. But anyway, ours are all metal. And we'll try to get the new one in. So here we go. So brake quiet on the face of the piston. Then ceramic grease on the ears that have to move. I recommend you use lots of this grease because it's cheap and works well. So gloves off here. Get a little brake clean. That's just to make it run a little bit better with all the gunk there. It has to ride in these little ears here, right? So suppose I'm gonna keep these little ears clean. So it's funny, a lot of people use brake cleaner for everything else but cleaning brakes, but it works well in cleaning brakes. Really well. It dissolves everything. Right. This other one in. Same thing. A little bit of brake quiet. And a little bit of ceramic grease and all the little where it slides. Press that in here. There we go. More brake slide in here. Okay. I missed a slot. All right, and that's it. I'm gonna put it back and change out the sensor. All right, I'm gonna slide the brake caliper back on and put in the two slide pins where we're good. I'm gonna pull this hook out. Recommend these hooks. They're stainless steel, they're 1/4 inch, they're really thick. These things are heavy, so normal wire would bend. Hooks right up here in the suspension. Works really well. All right, so that looks all good. We'll put our pins in. Let's pop this out. This is the sensor. As you can see, it goes in this little box here. And I think it's the top one here. Pull that out. So we just a little white plug here, push here. The thing has a O-ring, which I will pop. Pull it out. That's the old sensor. We got our new one here. So just work our way in here. Push this in. Push it back in there. That'll line up. And then we fit to that little clip that we have in the other package. So really, that's it. You may not be able to see that box, but this is the box where the wire went in. If you can see that, that's where that white clip in, the white plug went in for the brake sensor. So that's the brake sensor. You probably didn't see it from the other angle, but that's it. Simple. Yeah, so this is that little white clip. So let's take a look. It was clipped like this. So the bars here too. I think this clips right into the brake line itself. So if it goes around. And here we use our ultrasonic cleaner to clean the two brake pins. It does a fantastic job. And we use a little bit of water and a little bit of purple power cleaner. It's fantastic. Right, so we got the clean bolts, nice and shiny. So we'll put these back. So these are definitely want to add a lot of really good grease. You have to slide. Your entire calipers slide on these pins. So we'll be cheap on the grease here. This grease is cheap. Alright. So remember there were two, with a longer one and a shorter one. The shorter one goes on top. So we'll just screw it in. Okay, sensor's back in. Last piece is to put the anti-rattle clip back in, which is fairly simple. There you go, that's the anti-rattle clip, and we're good. Right, so we have our car lifted, and we're gonna remove that wheel, and then we're gonna check out the brake pads, because I think it's fractured, it's gouging the rim, but then we're gonna take apart. I don't know if you can see it, but do you see the gouge marks in the brakes there? In the rotor? So something's gone wrong. I'm getting a lot of noise, so we'll have to fix that. So with the wheel, if you can see the extent of the damage here and here. So something wrong with the brake pads. So we'll take this apart. Right, so we pull out these two pins. They're the ones that go back here and allow the caliper to slide back and forth. So we took them out, cleaned them out with some sandpaper. They're stainless steel, so they're pretty shiny, clean up all the corrosion, and we're gonna cover these with a special kind of caliper grease, high temperature caliper grease, when we put them back in. So, next step is get this thing off and see what's going on there. I think it's pretty clear what was going on. As you can see, the brake pad here, this one here, it's all metal. There is no brake pad. It was metal against this rotor. Some brake pad there. They said it's 6,000 left on the indicator sensor, so that was not the case. I have to replace this. If you know what these are brake hangers. It's like a 1/4-inch piece of stainless steel. I recommend you get them like $9. They're super stiff and allows you to hang the brake caliper. If you don't, it'll put stress on the tube for the hydraulic fluid. These are really expensive. A lot of people just use bungee cords or some small wire. They're not strong enough. You want to buy a set. So I use this ceramic brake parts lubricant, which is what the purple stuff on the tabs are, which will go there and there, and it slides on the caliper here and here. But we also use this stuff called brake quiet, this stuff here, which is essentially really sticky glue, so that when the brake pad sits in there, it doesn't vibrate and squeak. Typically there's a clip here that holds it from squeaking, but this keeps it from actually moving. It's actually kind of glues it in place. So you want to glue the pad here and also around the circle, which is why we have it around there. But at the tabs, you want lubricant and not glue. This is what this is. So we use the ceramic lubricant there. Cool. So when we put the two pins back, which are like back here, the two sliding pins, which allow the caliper to slide back and forth, this is what it looks like. Nice colors, huh? Purple, red. Yeah, the purple is the ceramic grease. It doesn't wash out, so that allows it to slide. And the red is just basically stick the brake pads from vibrating. So that's what that is. Cool. So this is the brake pads. As you can see, this is the back one. It's almost done. And this is the pad on the outside. As you can see, it's down to like less than 1/8 of an inch. So this one's almost done. The other side basically wore through the metal and started grinding on the rotor. So I had to get a new rotor for the other side. But you can see, make sure you replace your brake pads. The sensor actually said there's 6,000 miles left, which is absolutely wrong. So don't trust the sensor. If it gets under 10,000, you should just change them out. But as you can see, that would have done some lasting damage to the rotor. It's so thin. Wow. Okay, so we're down to the last little bit. So these are our new brake shoes here, and these are for the parking brake. So we're replacing, this is the hub, it's been removed, and so take that out, we use a 5mm socket that goes right in here. There's these screws, I don't know if you can see them. You put them in, you do a turn, and it's like a little cotter key, or like a little T, if you can see that. And so that, as you can see, frees it up. We pull the spring here, and then we take these out, and then we'll replace. It's very simple. Okay, we're trying to reassemble this. It's really interesting. There's a clip down here. Parking brake pulls out and it expands. It expands the bottom of the brake shoes. We took out the expander, which causes the two moons, the two halves of the moons to open up, and so then these two pieces open up, and so it gives you more contact surface as the brake pads wear. So right now we're putting this back in with the T's. They go into this little hole here, goes in, it turns, and it holds the brake shoe in place. So yeah, we'll continue to do that, and hopefully let's get it put back together. And there, it's all put back together. We have a layer of anti-seize on the hub. And now we're going to screw the wheel back on. We put the brake back on, we put the two 16mm bolts back on. So it's all there. You can see the red brake quiet, which glues the pad to the caliper, because the caliper can move. We have the purple grease here, or the little ears where it moves back and out, back and forth. I think it looks good.